you can't find a job, and that absolutely sucks. And look, I know we're facing the worst job market we've probably ever seen, but the reality is there are likely some things you're doing right now that are stopping you from actually getting a job. So I'm gonna walk you through the top 5 reasons of why you're not getting a job, but even more, I'm gonna help you get through it, but you're gonna wanna stick around because the last one, to me, is the secret killer to finding a job. Hey look guys, I started this channel completely to help all the 9-to-5ers, the corporate athletes. If that's you, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right at the top. Like, comment, and share so you can help this channel grow. All right, let's deep dive in number 1. You're not applying enough. All right, let me just hit you with a stat right from the beginning. In order to get one interview, most people have to apply to 100 jobs. Let that sink in. A qualified candidate who fits these 100 roles has to apply 100 times to get one interview. That's a 1% interview rate. Again, this market is the stiffest competition we have ever seen. We have everyone from tech superstars to janitors struggling to find jobs in their niche right now. I know this is both someone who searched for a job recently and as an employer in my small business. I have never seen the amount of responses to a job posting than I have right now today. I'll give you an example. For my cleaning company, one cleaning post for a high-paying janitor position received over 50, 60 responses within 72 hours. That is unheard of. So you, with your qualified self and all your qualified friends, definitely got to understand that the competition is stiff for these high-paying 6-figure jobs, and you gotta amp it up. If you don't believe me, look at this tweet from Bees and this thread that I just inserted here of someone who's being critiqued for thinking that they're applying to a ton of jobs, but in reality, they're just not. Crank it up a notch here, guys. You don't have a choice. Number 2, your resume sucks. There's so many things we've been taught that are outdated or things that we flat out are just not doing to get past these automated tracking systems for hiring and the recruiters. Let's get right into it. Number 1, your format may be off. If you have photos of yourself, if you have weird designs, misplaced periods and commas and all different things like that, do a quick pass through and take all of that stuff out or correct it. Fix that right away. Those are table stakes before we even get started. Number 2, second biggest thing as a reviewer of resumes, as a small business owner, as an executive, as a leader across the board that I see, is when I review your resumes, I have no idea what you plan to bring to the role and the impact you've made on your other roles. I'll give you an example. I'll read a resume that says, I was a superstar with all these buzzwords in this position. And then I'll look to see, well, what was the impact of your superstarness? And I couldn't tell you what you did in that job. Guys, you gotta center on less fancy words, more impact. Your resume should have numbers. It should have stats. It should have budgets. Anything to show me how impactful or how large or how great your role was, because I wasn't there, right? And the reason for all of this is I wasn't there. I didn't work with you. I don't know what your impact was. Write your resume like you're explaining to a person who doesn't know, because I don't. And then the last thing is I want you to sprinkle those buzzwords when you get it perfect from the job description into it only after you have made sure you fix the formatting and you've shown your impact. Then that'll take it over the top. Number 3, this one sucks. Most people are too prideful and embarrassed, but you're not using your network enough. It is utterly embarrassing to lose your job. I personally know that. I've been laid off before. I totally get it. You know what's even more embarrassing? When you can't pay your rent. We gotta get past the pride and the ego here. You have to focus on asking people in positions of power or people at companies that can refer you to help usher you into the door. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the top 10 or 15 companies you love to work for, both locally and nationally. Then I want you to comb through your network and I want you to see who works at these companies that you can personally ask for a referral or an introduction. And then 2, if you don't have anyone in these top 15s, I want you to find who are the people that are connected to the people in your network, and this is the one good thing LinkedIn's good for, so that they can help introduce you to people who could help you get into the door of these top 15 companies. The other thing you want to be doing is actively talking to recruiters. LinkedIn has a cool new AI feature. You can hit the button and it'll even provide you with a cool little script on what you should say to the recruiters. But if you don't have access to that and you're just getting on LinkedIn, what you can do is reach out directly to these recruiters and essentially introduce yourself as quickly as possible. Tell them about the jobs and the position you're looking for and the value you can bring to the company. Keep it short, keep it brief, but hitting recruiters up consistently may feel Like, it's a little bit embarrassing, but it can be very impactful for walking you in the door if you don't have any connections. And this is the Hail Mary, the bomb. People post that they're open to work on LinkedIn in a post saying that they got laid off or they're no longer with a company for one reason and one reason only. We all feel bad when we read those and we want to help. If you're really in a rut, give it a shot. Ask for help, because people have done that and found hiring managers just through those posts. Number 4, and this one burns, man, because I've personally done this 1,000 times, and I'm sure you have too. You haven't prepped well enough for the interview and the opportunity. Let's break this one down because there's twofold. Number 1, you may have gotten an introduction to someone who can provide you with a referral or who may even be a hiring manager. Do not show up to this meeting and just wing it. Be prepared to talk about the roles that you have seen, what you know about the company, and most importantly, the value you can bring to the company because of your previous experience. You must do this to make those meetings effective. On the other end, if you do find yourself in a position and land an interview, make sure you do some of the basic things to prep. These companies are not very creative because they have to be consistent. 1, check out the mission of the company. Make sure you know that and the values. 2, review the job description. Make sure you know what you're applying to and what they're looking for. 3, look up the history of the people you're interviewing with. If you have the names of the interviewers, look at their LinkedIn to see if you can make a personal connection with them outside of just their roles and experience. And 4, go over these simple and predictable behavioral interview questions that they always ask. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult employee. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult stakeholder. These things always come up. Be prepared for them. Don't waste anybody's time, but most importantly, don't waste the opportunity. And number 5, and this one is the most disheartening because I've been there and it's so devastating, but it's the secret killer to why most people can't find a job. You're distracted. Let me tell you what I mean. You are distracted by the fact that you're depressed about not having a job. You're distracted by all the emotions that come with not being able to find a job. You may even be distracted by the simple fact that you got to put a roof over your family's head, and that pressure is getting to you and you can't find a job. I totally understand it, but what I don't understand and what I'm encouraging you not to do is don't let that rightful distraction put you into a negative place, so much so that you're wasting time. People have been turning the rightful distractions that they have that come with the stress of this situation into hours of TikTok. They've been turning this into unhealthy behavior, unhealthy practices, focusing on why me, woe is me, everything is going wrong, this is the worst economy, and focusing on all the things that they cannot control and sprinkling in those bad habits right on top. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pull up your screen time, and I want you to see how many hours this week you spent on social media. I want you to see how many hours not doing any types of certifications or prep for a role or applying to jobs. And then I want you to take all that time and add it up, and that's the time I want you to take back, because that's the time you're distracted. Take all those hours back and put those towards applying to 10 jobs a day. And I guarantee you, not only will you feel like you're doing everything possible that you can, you're giving everything, but you will start to see results, because you're gonna put those hours back into jobs, back into certifications, back into your mental, physical, spiritual health, and you will produce results as a result of that. Look guys, I keep saying it in this video because I've personally been there as recently as this last year or so. It is very difficult to find a job right now, but you are doing some things that are hurting you from finding a job. Really think about what I said in this video. I know it applies to a lot of us, but as always, my name's RP. You can do anything with God and hard work. Don't get comfortable. Peace.